Hey, so it's another day. Today I am going on a field trip with my youngest, Lucas. And so I am choosing comfort over fashion. I always will, every time. So I'm just going with a simple look. And I also want to talk about something that hit me yesterday. Yesterday in my message, I talked about um, how sometimes we can allow our setbacks and how people talk to us if they don't agree with us or whatever, how we can allow those things to kind of stop what we're doing, how we can allow our physical pain and our emotional pain to slow us down and to stop us in our tracks when we are trying to reach goals and chase dreams and all the things, right? And so I had seen a video with another message in it that kind of like tied it all together and kind of gave me a um, light bulb moment, I guess, where I was like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. So the other message that I heard was talking about the Bible character Lot and his wife. And if you're not familiar with the story, um, Lot and his family, his wife and his two daughters, were told to leave their hometown because that was Sodom and Gomorrah, and God was the cities were so corrupt, just so bad, so like if you could imagine the worst city we have now, the worst place in the world right now, it was like that, and so God was going to destroy it with fire. But Lot was related to Abraham, who was a good and faithful servant of God's. And because of that, Abraham had asked God to spare his family from that destruction. He had told, he said, they're good people, spare them. So God sent angels in to come and get them out of the city and tell them to leave. So they did. But as they were leaving, the angels told them, do not look back. Just keep on moving forward till you're in a safe zone. Like, don't look back. However, unfortunately, Lot's wife looked back. And what happened when she looked back was she became a pillar of salt. Now, what we don't know is, they were leaving their hometown where they had lived and grown a life, and they had a house, and who knows what all they had. They were leaving behind friends and, I don't know, maybe even family a little bit, and they were leaving behind the life they had created and the life they had built, and not only what they had already created and built, but the things they had hoped for, the dreams they were looking forward to. And they had to up and leave all of that unexpectedly. And so, thinking of that, it's like, how could you not look back? How could you not kind of grieve that a little bit, And so God had allowed that. I mean, God had told them if they stopped to look back that there would be consequences. And so her consequence was to become a pillar of salt. And what I have learned, yesterday in my message, at one point I said, how did I become this person, this version of myself that so easily caves into my emotions and my feelings and lets that stop me from doing what I need to do and stop me from accomplishing my goals and getting where I need to get to in life, And it had dawned on me when I heard this message that a few years ago in 2021, God had told me to stop doing hair. And if you've read my book, then you've read the story of like how that dream was my life. But it was not just my life, it was my identity as a hairstylist. A hairstylist was my identity. And it was very, very, very hard to let that go. But I knew that God had been calling me to let it go. So I kind of held on to it a little bit that first year and was still doing a few house calls. But then the following year, I knew that I had to let it go completely. So I let it go completely. And that was well, I don't want to say the hardest thing, because there's a lot of hard things in life, but it was very, very hard to do that. And so, what I realized yesterday as I was talking about that, I'm thinking, how did I get this way? How did I get so easily, I don't know, distracted? And it occurred to me that I have been holding on to those lost dreams, and I've really been grieving them, but I've just been holding on to that lost hope and lost dreams instead of just letting it go and allowing God to move and allowing God to fulfill the promises of what would come if I was obedient. I forget what he originally told me. I forget, about the promises, and I get hung up in the past. And so, it just, yeah, I just want to share that with you all. Maybe encourage you a little bit that if you feel like you've been stuck, maybe you've been grieving something in the past, just like I was grieving something in the past that needed to be let go of. And in all reality, I have not been fully giving my all into the next phase because I'm still holding on to the last phase. I still am holding out hope that something will come of that. So the dream was to one day own my own salon, full salon, not just booth rent, not just a salon suite, but I would have a full salon with employees and everything, and full service, the whole thing. And that just has not happened. And I've come very close, very, very close. And yet then circumstances changes and I don't get it, and so it's very hard to let go of that because that's been my life's dream, my life's goal. But I know that when God told me to let it go, that he was telling me to let go of the whole dream because he was promising me so much more. And to be quite honest, I am more fulfilled when I'm doing the other things. So here's to letting go. I am trying to let go of that. Let go of that dream and all of that hope and just let go of it so that I can fully grasp the new thing that he is doing within me and within my life, and just let that be instead of holding on for dear life to something that maybe was never meant for me, or I think it was only meant for me as far as it went. Like everything teaches us a lesson and everything has its purpose and it makes us who we are, what we go through. And so I do wholeheartedly believe that, I met people through that business and that career that I would not have met otherwise. And so it had its purpose. And so I celebrate the life that career had for me, and I move on from here on out. I let it go completely, and I move on into what God has really called me to do, and to just doing that. And just because it's so fulfilling when I do walk in my purpose and in my calling. And it's more fulfilling than doing hair could ever do for me. So I just want to encourage anybody out there today who might be feeling like, yeah, I do allow my emotions. What am I holding on to that God has told me to let go of that is keeping me from moving forward in all things? All right, that's all I have for you today. Go out and be a blessing to somebody today. Let go of the past. Look forward to the future. Live in the present. Love you.